Hey everyone, welcome to another art video. I just wanted to, talk briefly about Aureli's board here, about how we can improve it and kind of create feedback. Obvious focal point, clear visual balance, totally cool. I had a conversation with her about how she could create more unity, and I was just saying like, hey, can you try using, other greens, right? So here we have, you probably have a dark green. And I was saying to her, I have to increase the brush. I was saying, try to go ahead and try to, like, these shapes, she can try to repeat those throughout the board to kind of create more unity, right? That was an idea that I had for her. And you could even, Aurelie and everyone, you could even make things bigger slowly, and you can layer things on top to kind of create more rhythm throughout the board. So you can actually layer different greens on top, right? So other triangles, so you could go ahead and create that complexity throughout the board. This is actually progressive rhythm, especially if you make them bigger. Like if you slowly were to make them bigger, I don't know if you want to go over that sun. Please leave your comments. That would create rhythm. Maybe you want to have like a bigger triangle down here, maybe a bigger triangle down there. I'm not sure. Okay. I really like too what you have going with like the stems. And if we were to even stick to like some of the green blue colors, right? You could add more waviness on top of it because these colors are meant to be layered. So maybe you want it to go from light to dark, or maybe you want to work in different browns, but you could go ahead and have that happening and create more focus that way, like kind of going out. Other things you could do, you could play too with like whiteout, like I was saying in class, and you could kind of have circles kind of coming out from these suns. And these are all options, but these are things that you would layer on top. Right? Or maybe you want to have the waviness coming out. I love how you're adding in highlights right here. I think that's really cool. Maybe try adding dots to create more textures. Maybe, guys, adding more highlights throughout. Notice how that kind of makes things pop. It makes the eye kind of go right there. When we add a highlight in, wow, that really comes alive. Right? So adding in a highlight. Maybe you could take the brown. Let's see, like take the brown, like I'm sure you have kind of like a dark brown in there. Create more of a dark brown and kind of add like a shadow on top of this. So if you're gonna, you may not want to go that much, but if you're gonna go ahead and have a highlight on the right side, right? You could add in and kind of layer and just brush, turn the pencil, right? But kind of brush in. You could also add dots to create texture on top of all of the flowers, right? And kind of mirror that, like, let's see. I guess you would just see the shadow on this one, so you could go ahead and add that shadow throughout. You could stick with the theme of the highlight and increase the highlight on all of the petals. You could also, like over here with the pink, you could add the red around the outside, or you can even add a dark purple if you want to kind of make that pop out more. So there are just all sorts of things you could do. I kind of feel like if you add shadows in the middle, you should add shadows to all throughout. You could, increase the brown, or you could do like bigger waves with the brown, You could have stems. You could draw stems with ellipses right here. and have like a bunch of stems going towards the middle. And this might be stuff you want to practice, you know, in your sketchbook before you go. But you could have a bunch, and then do ellipses. You could add highlights to the stems. You could add highlights to all the leaves if you can get a hold of some whiteout. You could add a highlight to all of these leaves in the back, or just a little bit of white shading on the top. You could add highlights to that. You could add highlights to the flowers. So these are all kind of like little final things you can do to make a piece look more complex. You could even, like, guys, cut white paper. And like think about like gluing white paper, you know, to kind of create little dots and little shades if you want to do that. So Aurelie, let me know in the comments if this was helpful, or anyone else. But definitely like adding in shadows, you know, creates depth, or finding ways to kind of darken colors. Maybe darken the background with a gray. Like even darkening, taking your marker and, oops, that's like brown. But like getting like one of the gray markers or one of the purple gray markers and just going in at the edges and kind of getting some changes in color. Or you could take, even you could take the light blue and just go and layer on the top, maybe on the outside with the marker. So you have like a variance of different kind of colors, like you're varying the colors a little bit. Okay, and just try layering on top. And if anything, you know, like just doing like lines towards the middle with blue. I like the idea of repeating the green triangles. That's the first thing I thought of. But doing that with blue, or even doing that, layering on top, layering with some dark green on top towards the middle, just adding more converging lines, adding the highlights, adding the shadows, would really make this design like more complex and more eye-catching. And then like really adding a fancy boundary around the outside. But I think you're onto a great start. Remember to add black at the end and to add those dots and those details. But great job, Aurelie. Keep up the good work. Everyone, keep up the good work. Take risks with your skateboard. Have a good time. What just happened? That looks cool, though. All right, this is Miss Copera. Ooh, I love it. See how cool it is?